and welcome to the post-Thanksgiving edition of That's My Bag. This week, I have several comics I'll be reading, plus a collection. First off is Buffy the Vampire Slayer number 19, which proves once again to me that if you don't know how to write time travel stories, don't write time travel stories. I don't know if Joss Whedon, whom I normally trust to plot and tie it all together eventually, didn't want to write this story, or what exactly happened. But with all of the cryptic lying that Dark Willow was throwing around to everyone, to Frey and to Buffy and to Hearth, I got confused as to who she was telling the truth to, if anyone at all, or what the whole purpose of all of this time travel to the future was. 200 years in the future, Buffy sees that all of the Slayers, except for one, have disappeared. So what happened to all the thousands that she had created in her time? And that's Buffy's problem. Now, I'm not sure exactly if Dark Willow was trying to get Buffy to kill her, or if she was trying to show her what the future would be like and warn her about this, or things like her saying, it isn't who dies, it's who kills them. And then later on saying, I'm lying to someone. Probably to us, the reader, too. There is such a thing as dramatic irony where we need to be clued in as to what's happening, which makes it a little bit more tense, because we know what's happening, whereas the characters do not. This was just confusing. I read it 3 times to be sure that I just hadn't missed something. Maybe it's in a previous issue, and I missed it on that time around too. But for the end of the arc, Time of Your Life, I felt that it didn't tie together very well. The appearance of Riley in it notwithstanding, I didn't really like Riley on the TV show. I liked his pecs. I didn't like Riley. So when he appeared in this, I'm kind of like, yeah. So the last time he was on the show, he had a wife. I don't know what happened to her in this one as well, but I think she noticed the tube sticking out of his heart. So, yeah, we're gonna give this one a C. It's okay. It's just not great. If you're a completist, go for it. If you're not, probably feel free to skip it. Next up is Runaways number 4. Terry Moore, whom I like and continue to like in Runaways, is still doing a good job. He has a ton of threads hanging out there that he keeps touching back on in each issue, which is good. This one finally focuses more on the team than on their conflicts with other people. This is a conflict about themselves, and it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. I haven't read into any of the spoilers to see if anyone's going to be leaving the team or not, but it definitely seems that it's heading this way. Right now the whole team is fractured because of a spell that Nico cast to scatter, and whatever remained in the team is scattered. With trying to figure out how to undo the spell before Caroline and his people come back and try to take her away is a matter of timing. Let's put it that way. So pick it up. I definitely say it's worth the read, and anything with Nico in it is okay in my book. So I'm going to give this one an A. Next up we have Wonder Woman number 26, the beginning of the Rise of the Olympian saga. In this one, Wonder Woman faces down something, a godlike being called genocide. I've read some places where people call genocide a she, and I haven't quite seen that yet. There are... Oh, my mistake. Right there, into the boob. So, genocide's a she. And she has no remorse, no conscience, no feelings for anyone that she's killing, although I'm not really sure why she's exactly killing anyone. She was let out by Dr. Minerva and Dr. T.O. Morrow, to wreak havoc, but beyond that, I don't know what their hideous plot is. So, Diana faces down genocide and gets her ass handed to her with Tom, her boyfriend, in dire straits of his own, with Commander Steele back at the Bureau, who believes that he is a traitor and has pictures of him, holding Wonder Woman's hand on their magic clam ride. So there's a lot going on here. It looks like that there's enemies inside, enemies outside. Gail Simone keeps the pacing tight and interesting, and the big surprise in this one is probably the return of the gods. I like how it was handled, although I haven't seen them since the end of Amazon's attack, when I didn't buy it. I just read it at the store. I just read it because I needed to know what was going on, and that was about the extent of it. I had no interest in buying it, and no interest in remembering it, other than the fact that it might affect something later on. So, the last time we saw the gods, they were being held captive by Granny Goodness, who eventually, I think during 52 or Countdown or some other mess, Granny Goodness fled Olympus. What happened to the bodies of the gods is up for grabs right now. According to this, they were resurrected in an I-Corps ship and then brought back to Olympus to find it in tenement shape. Let's call it that. It's kind of ghetto looking right now because of Darkseid and his people, who are now dead and trying to be resurrected back in over in Final Crisis, which is being rewritten even as we speak. So, with all of that going on, it appears that Athena has given up on her support of Diana, or feels that Diana is not quite up to snuff. So Athena relinquishes her immortality, and as she does, Diana's powers start to fade. I'm not sure if they're actually connected, or if this has something more to do with genocide. But there's some bad stuff coming up in the next couple of issues. Even with this male Amazon on the way, it's going to be a bloody mess by the time it's all said and done. So I'm going to give this one an A. Not only because I like Gail Simone, but because it really is a good read. Next up, Superman number 682, the sixth chapter in the 9-chapter New Krypton series. And we finally have the problem of the matter. The Kryptonians go out and kidnap all of Superman's arch nemeses, including the Toy Man. I know he's kind of a pain in the ass, but really an arch nemesis. And throw them into the Phantom Zone. On the way, they managed to kill the Kryptonians, managed to kill several Metropolis science policemen, and this sparks Clark's anger and Alora's righteous indignation that why should he even care, or she care about something like this. Alora is probably going to be the X factor in this, in all of this. She believes innately in the superiority of the Kryptonians, which is what got them blowed up in the first place. Zor-El is a little bit more understanding and a little bit more sympathetic towards Superman's position because he feels that they need the police. Very well written, an excellent issue, excellent art as well. I love the scene in the graveyard between Clark and Ma and, of all people, Bizarro, who flew away saying, "Me, I'm happy." So he's really sad about the death of Jonathan Kent, which makes sense because he is Clark to a certain extent. But at the same time, it was a very touching moment. So, I'm going to give this issue a B+, not because the issue itself is less than good. It is a very, very, very good read. Again, I'm concerned about the pacing of the overall New Krypton story arc across all of the 9 issues. So, let's hope that Jeff Johns is going to, bring it in the next 3 issues, because he really needs to. I can just see, double-sized issues and $6.99 prices coming out of this. So then this brings us to number 6 of Madame Xanadu. So any issue of any comic that has death in it is going to be a winner in my book. However, I'm starting to think that any issue with the Phantom Stranger in it is just not going to be a winner in my book anymore. I have no idea what Matt Wagner's doing with this guy, except that he's hell-bent on totally pissing off Nimue at every turn. Nimue herself is she's kind of like a girlfriend. She's kind of like a girlfriend of mine, okay? Who, whenever we talk about her dates, will invariably to how disappointed she is in her dates, and how she tries to rationalize their behavior. I remember one time about talking to her for no less than 20 minutes, where she said, I don't know what happened. He said he was going to call me on Friday, but by Sunday he hadn't called me. So I called him and left a message saying, hey, why didn't you call me on Friday? And I said, well, that's just something that men say. And she said, but he said he called me on Friday. I said, well, exactly. He said he was going to call you. He didn't call you. So that's just what men say. But why would he say that then? Well, he said it because he didn't want to call you. And you could hear the wheels in her head go, and then she reset, and she said, but he said he was going to call me. Never thinking that he wasn't going to. He just said this, he did it to avoid the situation, to get out of it, for whatever reason, men do whatever they do in dating situations. And for some reason, her being in her 30s now, still buys it. And this is what's really strange to me about Nimue in this. You know, Nimue, 6th issue, 6th encounter with this guy, he's managed to fuck you up every time, and yet you run hot and cold with him. Love, hate, back and forth. Woman, wake up! He's no good for you! No, he's not going to call you back on Friday, no matter what he says! No matter what he says! Poor Nimue. Anyway, it's Matt Wagner, it's Nimue, it's death. So I'm gonna give it an A-, just because I hate the Phantom Stranger now. Loved him before, hate him now. Matt, either do something with him or get rid of him, other than Nimue's somewhat strange romantic foil. I don't know. Lastly, this is not a comic book exactly, it's a collection. And I have to say, when I saw that this was going to be issued, I was excited, and it arrived this past Saturday in my mailbox from Amazon.com, and I tore through it. It was great. So here we have Jack Kirby's The Demon Collection, and it is. Can we get that in there? There we go. And it's great. It really is. Not only because it's Jack Kirby, but for me it's because it's the Demon. He's been one of my favorite characters since an issue of, oh my gosh, I can't think of what it was. The Demon and Superman teamed up to stop some druid made of wood, and ever since that moment I was like, wow, this is a really, really neat character. He never got used all that much. And then a few years later, when Matt Wagner did his series of The Demon and made him a rhymer, which so far only Matt Wagner has been able to do successfully, everyone else does some sort of bizarre free verse with him. Matt Wagner made him, he sonnetified him and made him conversant in poetic form, which was fantastic. Jack Kirby didn't, but also I try to remember that Jack Kirby wasn't trying to go for this whole rhyme scheme with him. That was Matt Wagner's little thing. So with this, we have Jack Kirby's art, which varies from time to time. It's not quite as grand as the Eternals is, but it's all Jack Kirby. I think my only thing about it is that here you have this all-powerful demon type who is supposed to be, well, all-powerful and evil, and yet everyone in the world can turn him on and off like a light switch, even from his friend Randu to Glenda to Morgan Le Fay to the Clarion, the Witch Boy, to Merlin himself. Everyone can make him go back and forth from his human form to his demonic form, and I find that a little distressing. It's almost like when they had the way in Charmed, the TV series, which Lord hell only knows why I watched it. But why didn't they ever ward that house? Why couldn't they just come up with some sort of spell to keep people from getting into it all the time. I mean, seriously. They were there all the time. It was like they were visitors. Like they had an open invitation into the mansion, and they would just show up uninvited in every episode. Same thing here. You know, Jason Blood, you need a different spell to get you to transform, or it needs to be voice activated or something. I'm really not sure what it is, but you poor thing, what your body must have to go through for this. Even so, hey, love it. It's a great read and a great look back in history for DC. So that's it for this week. That's my bag, and until next time, you know, be careful of my Gom Jabbar.